Hi guys, Sweetie Pie here. Welcome back again. Sweetie Pie's back. Tell a friend we're getting rid of some stuff because when I was going through my stuff, I was like, oh my god. Okay, so today we are gonna go through, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I've got 18 palettes that I'm giving away, and then I have 2 products, and then I just have a few, like all of those double-ended brushes that come in palettes, the naked palettes, they're all going because I just don't like them in my collection. I hate that they're double-sided. It drives me crazy. So there's some of those as well. Hi, my name's Sweetie Pie, aka Melissa, on this channel. If you've never seen me before, I forgot to introduce myself as I usually do. Hi, this is my channel. We do all makeup content, you know, whatever kind of commentary I can think up, I do on my channel. So I hope you guys enjoy, and I hope you subscribe. So let's get back into this. Today we are doing a declutter. I did this a little bit differently than I would normally. I literally just went through some of my eyeshadow palettes, some of the ones that were spilling out over top of my drawers, which I have 3 full drawers full of eyeshadow palettes, and it's like, okay, something's gotta give. So I just went through and grabbed a bunch that were on the chopping block anyway, and we're gonna go through them right now with you. I'm gonna show you them. Some of them, a lot of them are quite good quality. It's not the fact of that, it's the fact that I have too much and it's just too repetitive, and I think someone else would definitely get some better use out of this. So I'm gonna give them to my coworkers, and yeah, let's get into this video. All right, yes. Okay guys, let me get a little closer. Oh my god. Okay, so we've got a bunch of palettes here, and we've got some high end, we've got some low end, and then we've got a few, like I think one that's trash. I'm just throwing this away. All right, first things first. This is the Physicians Formula, the Gold Vault. This also came with a gold mascara. These eyeshadows, some of them are so pretty, and oh my gosh, like, do you see that one in the middle there? That bronzy one is such a pretty eyeshadow, but this is so bulky, and honestly, there's like no mattes in this palette. I very rarely pull this out. Someone else is definitely going to get some better use out of this. Not that this is bad quality, because it really isn't. The quality of a lot of these shimmers, like this one right here, is a duochrome. I didn't want to swatch these because I already disinfected them, but I will have to do that again. Anyway, I'm going to give this one away. It is leaving my collection. So yes, Physicians Formula Gold Vault leaving. Let's just put that pile over there. The next one we have is also not bad. This is the NYX Off Tropic palette, and this was just one of their smaller palettes. The gold in the middle is absolutely disgusting. I hate the gold in the middle. Other than that, the palette is really pretty. These mattes work pretty well. They're not like super pigmented, but they will build, especially if you put like a, you know, nice tacky eyeshadow on, you know, that kind of thing. I've fared pretty well with these. Next is something that has been on the chopping block for ages now. I think I've probably owned this for 2 years, probably, maybe even 3 at this point. This is the I'm With the Band from Essence, and the reason I kept this for so long is because at that time, this was the best eyeshadows Essence had ever come out with for me. This palette, and like the actual, like, I think their collection had like 4 of these palettes in it that were, you know, fold in on themselves, which I actually haven't had a lot of problems with, to be honest. Anyway, there was about 4 of them that came in this collection, and in my opinion, this one was the only one that was worth it, and this one at the time was really the only eyeshadows from Essence that were in this kind of palette form that I liked at all. But it's just, you know, it's older. It's not something I'm reaching for. The quality is nice still. It's not a bad quality palette still. Is it the best quality palette? No, but it's still all right. It's still all right. It was good for what they used to be 2 years ago. Another palette that I literally should never have bought, honestly, this is the Revolution, Makeup Revolution Chilled with Cannabis Sativa palette. And of course, it's in their crazy bulky packaging. And let's see here. There we are. So this palette is kind of, it's interesting for Makeup Revolution in my opinion, because it does have a few different textures of eyeshadow in here. The mattes aren't all that bad. They're buildable, they're workable. The glitters, especially the silver one, I'm not that fond of. And then they have these almost ColourPop-like shadows, these gold ones. And honestly, I think these would make a better highlighting formula than they do an eyeshadow. They're just not, like, I guess the gold's pretty. Like, the gold's pretty pigmented. Can you see that? It's pretty pigmented, but it's not my favorite. I found that one of these shimmers, this one Mist, actually hard panned on me pretty darn quickly. And it's just, I'm not into Makeup Revolution's eyeshadows. I think I've learned that. I think that I really, a lot of the time, I do not fare well with their formula. I think that they're just kind of half-ass in it sometimes. Trying to get, there we go. All right, so another palette, let's see, we've got 3 of them here that are staring at me in the face, and they're all drugstore. So we have the CoverGirl Peach Punch. Okay, first things first, this smells so bad. It just is so badly smelling. I really do not like what they thought peach smelled like. I don't know what they were thinking. The eyeshadows are all right. The shimmers are really cute, and the 1, 2, 3, 4 mattes, they don't go super deep or anything, and they're a little bit powdery, but they work all right. I have like 4 of the other ones in their like True Naked line, and I like those quite a bit. I opted to keep those. Just this one is just not, it's the most not pigmented of the bunch. You cannot really create anything but a really light peachy look with it, which is just not my vibe. Ooh, another thing that I've had for a while that I never used. This is the Maybelline The City Kits Urban Lights Eye and Cheek palette. Okay, this is like when duochromes weren't really a thing yet. Like, here we are with Maybelline coming out with some duochrome eyeshadows. These are so pretty, but I have no fit for these in my collection anymore. It's just, I have so many. So we're giving this up. It is going. Someone else will get way more use out of this before, you know, it needs to be. I tried to get this clean, but it didn't work very well. This is the Physicians Formula Rose All Day Eyeshadow Banquet, and it's beautiful. This is a great palette, but I have like 4 dupes of the same palette, which is the Huda Beauty. Ooh, is it their new nudes? Yes, it is. It's their new nudes palette. And I don't need 4 dupes of the same palette. So I'm going to give this away. I'll probably end up giving it to one of the girls, Chloe, that I know, because it's a beautiful palette. But like, as you can see, it just would not come clean. It got so dirty. And yeah, I don't want to like give this to someone and then them think that I'm like trying to give them something gross, when in fact I just could not clean it. It is like not even a year old, maybe a year old. Anyway, okay, so this is the Too Faced Pretty Rich. And if you remember, I actually used this not long ago in a video. God, it was like bringing palettes back, or my favorite eyeshadows in old palettes. I am giving this away. I'm done with this. I don't want to play with this anymore, and it's still beautiful and like still looks pretty new. So I want to give this to someone that wants to use it, and yeah, because I don't want to use it. Facts. Okay, ooh. Okay, so back in the day, probably a good 4 years ago, I made a video depotting 2 of my Kat Von D palettes. The Saint and Sinner and another palette now that I can't remember. And I actually ended up putting them in this Z palette by Sephora. It's a double Z palette, and honestly guys, I think I used this 3 times after I depotted all of these shadows, so I'm going to be very careful in the future doing this because I'm just throwing out all of this. This is all of these shadows are going into the garbage. I may, like, you know, ooh, would it be cool to do, like, let me know, do you want to see like a close-up like video of me destroying some eyeshadows? Because like some of these eyeshadows are really pretty and they might actually look kind of cool being destroyed. Let me know, because either way, these are just going in the garbage. They're super old and I want to use this. I want to be able to use this double-sided palette again. So yeah, that is what's going on there. I am throwing those out. I have a little e.l.f. palette. This one is their Nude Mood. I just have too many brown eyeshadows. I can never open these palettes. It's not that it's not pretty. The eyeshadows work good. It's not that. It's just I got too many browns, so I'm getting rid of a brown palette. All right, again, this is not bad. Like that dark blue shade worked so beautifully. It's just I have so many that it's just becoming super redundant at this point. This is the Milani Gilded Violet. So again, this one is just going to leave my collection, not in ill will. Another Makeup Revolution palette. I've talked about this several times on my channel. This is the Makeup Revolution and Tammy X Revolution. It's not that this was horrible, because it wasn't horrible, but it wasn't good either. I wasn't overly obsessed with this palette, and the mattes were kind of thin. The shimmers were pretty thick. It was just like weird. It was weird to use this palette together with the mattes and the shimmers, because the shimmers, being as thick as they are, needed to kind of be wet, but then the mattes are super thin, so the whole thing was just kind of a mess for me, and I was just not all that happy with that palette. So I'm sure somebody can play with that palette and get some use out of it. A stupid purchase that I knew I wouldn't use was the Salt and Pepper Milani collaboration. The eyeshadows in it, again, quite pretty. A lot of them, like some of those shimmery silvers, are really nice, but it's just not something I'm going to be using anytime soon, so it's not something I need to keep. Okay, I didn't like this. This is the, what is this? What brand is this? Pacifica. That's what it is. This is the Pacifica Hemp Infused Eyeshadow. This is in Cosmic Reflect. Okay, when I first saw this and I saw that purple shade, I thought, wow, this is going to be really pretty. Honestly, that purple shade is my favorite shade in the whole palette, and it even sucks. I'm not even joking. Like, put a laugh track behind me, I swear. It's just, the eyeshadows are boring. They're thick. This, like, a lot of the shimmers are, like, thick and very chunky. When you lay them down, they're not bad, but like I didn't like this palette. I didn't like this palette, so it's just leaving my collection now. Not to mention the plastic that keeps the eyeshadows from like being touched and like comes out of the palette. It just is a weird thing. Okay, so we have the BH Cosmetics Royal Affair palette. Now, I love BH Cosmetics and I want to get some of their new stuff. I think I want to buy their Cream Shop palettes. I think that's what I'm going to do, okay? I want to try some new BH Cosmetics. I'm giving this away though. Even though I liked this, and I think that this isn't a bad quality palette, I just think that this is one of their older palettes and that they have bounced up their quality since then. So I'm going to go and purchase some of those so that I have some of those to kind of, you know, play with and whatnot. But this is a really pretty cute palette. I like the color story. I think they're going for like a very rough, grungy, kind of foresty look. I like it. Another BH Cosmetics palette, the Solar Flare palette. This one as well, like that bottom shade, if you can see that right there, that bottom shade, I dove into that bottom shade so much. Oh my gosh. It's like this duochrome green to gold. Very pretty. I like this palette a lot. It's an all shimmer palette, and I do not need an all shimmer palette in my collection, especially one that's, you know, a couple years older. Just not working out for me anymore. Okay, this was I think this was a Christmas gift for the year right before the panini. I love Angelica's panini. Yeah, that's funny. Don't even. Tartist Pro Remix palette. I got this for Christmas. My boyfriend actually got this for me for Christmas. He purchased off of Sephora. Like, oh my god. Okay, this is a very pretty palette. It's not that. It's just, I don't use it. The eyeshadows are pretty, but there's like no mattes in this palette. And it's kind of, I just feel like this is the exact same way I feel about the last palette I'm going to show you guys. It's just, it's not that this isn't pretty. It's just I have no more room in my collection for these palettes, especially these kinds of like limited edition palettes like this. Okay, when I bought this, I thought this was going to be the best thing ever. This is the Too Faced, it's 25th, or is it their 25th? No, it's their 20 years of being fabulous palette. This is their original 10 eyeshadows, and then they remade the eyeshadows into other ones. And honestly, they only put three mattes in the entire palette, and then they put those split pans in the palette. Honestly, this whole thing is just kind of jokey to me. The eyeshadows aren't that good of quality. I was pretty disappointed in this whole thing, and I remember doing my review on this like, well, it's okay, like the eyeshadows are all right, I like the pink, like, you know, there's eyeshadows like Glitter Donut in here that are quite pretty, but I just don't feel like, I think I paid, God, probably $75 for this. It's not worth $75. It's not. The eyeshadow quality is not worth $75. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. A crap ton of brushes. I'm not going through them all. They're like a whole bunch of double-sided brushes. This one's actually a Moda brush, but the huge, would never use this. This one's BH Cosmetics, another huge brush. I'm just gonna give these ones away. I have too many brushes. I was going through them and I was like, you know what? We're gonna give those away as well. And then last but not least, yeah, I did talk about these, right? Yeah? Okay, perfect. All right. Anyways, guys, those are the things that are leaving my collection, and I'm going to give them to coworkers, and, you know, I'm sure somebody will enjoy them much more than I did. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm like, what am I missing? I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Ooh, somebody's in trouble. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and yeah, I hope you guys have a safe, happy, healthy day, night, evening, all that good stuff. Subscribe. And yeah, mwah, I'll see you guys later.